the law of attraction, it's basically about you and how you feel as a person, not really connecting with other people, if I'm understanding the law of attraction right. So you can understand my little bit of confusion here.
Sure. And I'm glad you asked me that, Julie. You'd also apprised me of this issue in an email before the show, and I wanted to make sure we hit on that, so that's very good. There are problems, to put it bluntly, with the law of attraction as a model. And the problems are that we're getting back to an archetype, which I explained in my article series, The Deeper Secret, about how you approach your higher self. A strict interpretation of law of attraction as seen in the auxiliary materials and in the movie The Secret implies that the universe is an instant gratification machine. Mm-hmm. That the purpose of the universe is to basically be there to indulge your desire. And it's a very narcissistic view of the cosmos. It essentially implies that you're like a child walking through the grocery store. Mommy, I really want the marshmallows, and okay, you can have the marshmallows. You really wanted it really bad. You attracted it. Here you go. And that's not how it works. The people who make the most money off of the law of attraction teachings are the people who are charging exorbitant amounts of money to sell the knowledge to others.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly on that. All they're doing is filling their own pockets.
Without naming names, there is a particular individual who is on the Secret film, and I saw one of his lectures, and he charges people $1,200 to take him to dinner and talk to him for a half an hour. And he gets it. I mean, he has somebody that pays him for that at every single show.
Oh, my goodness.
And you're talking about weekend lectures in which there's one full day and one half day in one location, and people are paying sometimes over $900.
I've seen it as high as $2,000.
Well, yeah, some of them have raised it, and in fact, I remember hearing not too long ago that he has now raised the rate because he was getting too much demand, so he had to put it up even higher.
So this
and the reason why people would want to sign up for something like that is unremitted greed. It's basically them thinking, this guy is going to sell me something that's going to make me able to make money like he's making it.
Exactly.
So and that's the definition of the negative path. The negative path says, accept my enslavement over you so that you may in turn learn how to enslave others the way that I'm doing.
Ooh.
And it's a very scary thing, but that's what's really happening here. So there's two ways to approach your higher self. You can approach the higher self as a prostitute or as a maiden. The prostitute part is where you go up and you say, okay, higher self, this is what I want you to do for me. I want you to lie there in this position, put your leg up on top of the bed, here's the silk handcuffs, blah, blah, blah. Let's go for it. The maiden is somebody who may be a virgin or just has a virginal mind, who's not just going to sleep with you because you want them to. You need to actually have some game. You need to be able to, experience a sharing of laughter and communication and go on dates with this person and sort of build a criteria for why you would end up romantically involved.
Right.
Which is a much healthier thing. So the problem with the law of attraction belief, which is endemic of our society, and that's part of why The Secret got to be so popular as a film, is that it enshrines the egoic mind as God. It says, well, whatever my ego wants must be the right thing. And so part of the 2012 experience that we're going through is shedding that illusion that our ego is the full definition of who we are. And synchronicity is a very important part of that. Synchronicity intrudes on complacency, because synchronicity is not just positive. Synchronicity can be very abruptly karmic events too. Karma is part of the manifestation of the higher self when you realize, my gosh, why did this terrible thing just happen to me? Why have I just gone through the same pattern with this person again when I said I never wanted to experience abuse again? All these things, when you really understand esoteric knowledge, there is nothing in your life that is not a project of very high magical intervention on behalf of your higher self. Every day you are experiencing the most significant, most poignant experiences to propel you into self-knowledge and enlightenment.
So is it true that there is nothing more important than feeling good. What is that statement then?
It is true that we are here ultimately to be experiencing oneness with the Creator. We do not want to experience separation. If we create God as some sort of entity that we have been abandoned by, which is what most people are subconsciously doing, then it implies that we're aspiring to something that is other than ourselves. And that's the illusion. The truth is, we cannot be divided from the oneness. We cannot be separated from the oneness. We are fully and intrinsically one with all others. We should not look up to celebrities as being better than ourselves. In fact, in the last few weeks in Hollywood here, I've met several celebrities in person. I didn't treat them like celebrities, because why would I put them on a pedestal and say that this man or this woman is better than I am? So neither should you look upon someone as less than. I don't. If somebody's, when I walk out of the health food store and somebody says, "Could you give money to the homeless?" I usually give it. And if I don't feel like giving it to them, I'll go out the other door, because I'd rather do that than look this person in the eye and deny them what they're asking for. Because I really do try to be balanced in terms of seeing everyone in compassion and truth and love.
Right.
And that can be a very difficult discipline. But what's happening is the 2012 event really involved, because I'm sensing what some of the callers would be asking. They're wondering, what's going to happen? What's this 2012 thing really about?
Right.
And so, telepathically, I'm starting to get some of these questions. But
yeah, our lines are.
Yeah, in fact, in another couple minutes, I think we should open them up, because I did promise that we would do that. But let's try to steer this all in 5 minutes before the 10 minutes before. Let's kind of reorient ourselves to sort of what's the big game here? What's this all going towards? We are going to experience, in my opinion, a discontinuous event in which the nature of matter, energy, and consciousness will shift in a sudden moment. And this gets back to what is really going on in the atom. The atom is not a little nucleus with little electrons flying around like a solar system. That's the old Rutherford/Bohr model of the atom, which has been scientifically disproven in so many different ways. And anybody who's seen What the Bleep Do We Know knows how extensively they drilled that into you, that there's a uncertainty principle. It looks like a wave sometimes, it looks like a particle sometimes, and a particle and a wave are two very different things. So what we're left with, actually, is there are scientists such as Dr. Moon. I only learned about this more recently, how he factored in. He was a government scientist who discovered that what was really going on in the atom was geometry, a harmonic geometry. And his science was brought into the deep black and was kept secret. Because when you understand geometry, you understand the secrets of things like anti-gravity, free energy, the real nature of DNA, the real nature of how proteins are synthesized, which is how our bodies are constructed. When you start realizing that the same harmonic geometry underlies the synthesis of DNA in your body, the same geometry can be seen as a global energy grid over this planet, which the ancients, every single one of 4,000 different pyramids, standing stones, Stonehenge, etc., are built precisely on the nodes of this grid, or the lines of the grid. The ancients knew about this geometry. It's the same geometry we see in the galaxy. It's the same geometry we see holding superclusters of galaxies together in a giant egg carton configuration. It's the same geometry that we see in the background dust from when the universe was formed. It forms into these shapes. So if the whole universe has a soccer ball geometry, basically, a dodecahedron, and that same geometry governs how your proteins are synthesized in your body, that starts to break down the idea that there's any separation. That same geometry makes matter. It makes atoms and molecules. And it's based on frequency. If you play a particular sound frequency, like C on the piano, middle C, for example, and then you take that waveform and you project it into a liquid that has some particles in it, like fine sand. The fine sand in the liquid will arrange into this geometry, and that's been proven by a scientist named Dr. Hans Jenny, and then by another scientist named Dr. Buckminster Fuller, among others. And what that means is that there are, the ancient esoteric knowledge says that the universe was created from the Aum, the primordial sound.